Right, so now that the reference points are ready, let's go to the load module. And let's go by starting by applying the first thing, which is this 20 kilonewton at the top of the column. So I'm going to click on create load. I'm going to call this column axial load. And this will be applied during this step, which is the loading step, which is the only step that we have so far. And the type of the load is concentrated force. And then I can click on continue. And then I need, ABAQUS is telling me to select the point for the load. I'm going to select the column top. I'm going to click done. And then here I need to define the value of the load. So right now we need to add a concentrated force in direction 2, which is y. So 1, 2, 3 are equivalent to x, y, z. So now I'm going to apply in direction y negative 20 kilonewton, and we're using Newton and millimeter, so be careful with the units. So I'm going to say 20,000. Okay, so that's it. Another thing here, I don't need to put anything in CF1 or 3. These will be 0 anyway. The amplitude, this means how this force will be applied. So it's going to be applied as a ramp. This is now the default. So the question is this is what we want or not? So what does this mean, ramp? So if we remember, we said that everything is going to be applied as a function of time. Right now, the default amplitude, which is called ramp, is like this. If you have, this is the time domain, you have, this is the amplitude. Okay, let me try to zoom here. So right now, at time 0, and you have the time of the step, which is in our case is 1. We just made it 1 just for simplicity. But anyway, this is the end of the time step. So right now we have the ramp. Ramp means that it will start by 0, and then it will go all the way, it will increase, the load will keep increasing, the amplitude will keep increasing until it reaches 1. So over here, this is the ramp amplitude. So this 20 kilonewton that we applied, this means that ABAQUS, we are going to apply it at each increment. ABAQUS, like if ABAQUS is going into this time increment, ABAQUS will apply whatever the amplitude multiplied by this 20,000 that we applied. So the multiplication of the amplitude factor by the reference load, until at the end the entire 20 kilonewton will be applied. So this is what ramp means. In our case, actually, I don't want to do it like that. I want to apply this 20 kilonewton from the start to the end. I want to apply it from the start to the end. So I want to create a new amplitude. And this amplitude, let me call it, for instance, constant amplitude. So this amplitude at time 0 of the step, it's 1. And it remains 1 until the end of the step. So this is a constant amplitude. So the 20 kilonewton will be applied right away from the start of the step until the end of the step. All right. So this is what I want to do. So let's define a new amplitude. How can we define a new amplitude? Well, for now, let's keep it as ramp, and we will modify it later. There is this checkbox that says follow the nodal rotation. What does this mean? This means that if you have like the column, if you have a member, like let's say this cantilever, and you are applying load like that at this point, if this column deforms, like let's say that this column deforms like that, do you want the load to stay in the same direction as it is, or do you want it to follow the rotation of this point? So this is the option that ABAQUS is asking you for now. So for my case, I want it to stay in the gravity direction, in the y direction, so I don't want it to follow the nodal rotation, so I will not check this box. And I click OK. So now let me modify the amplitude. I could have modified the amplitude actually from this dialog box by clicking here So I can create an amplitude directly from here. It will prompt me to the create amplitude, but I want to show you how to create the amplitude from the model tree itself. So if you go all the way down here in the model tree, after fields, you have here before loads, there is amplitudes. So if you double click on amplitudes, then you can call it whatever. So let's say I can call it constant constant amplitude. And there are many ways of defining this. There is periodic, there is equally spaced, there is decay, there's like different types of functions that you can readily use. I will do this manually, so I'm going to use a tabular form. So I'm going to say continue. So the time span, this will be relevant with respect to the time span of this specific step. All right, so not the total time, because you could have multiple steps. So here I just need to say the frequency or the time. So at time 0, the amplitude I want it to be 1. And at time 0, at time 1, the amplitude is also 1. So that's it. So this means I defined my constant amplitude. By the way, you can, the same concept here for applying an amplitude, you can use that to apply cyclic load. So if you have a cyclic load, if you want to apply something cyclically, then you need to define some kind of amplitude. Again, this would be the time, this would be the amplitude, and then you need to define, let's say that you want to define some kind of cyclic amplitude that goes like this, and this is at time 1. So you need to define this amplitude, and you want to tell, like in ABAQUS, like when you define the amplitude, like at time, let's say 0.15, the amplitude is 0.2, and at time 0.3 is 0, and so on. So you input pretty much all these points that define your cyclic amplitude, and then you assign this amplitude to whatever the load or displacement that you're applying, and then you get cyclic load. That's it. So constant amplitude, that's it. Let me actually define a new one, the ramp amplitude, although it's already defined by default, but let me define it myself with my tailored name over here. So this will be at time 0, the amplitude is 0, and at time 1, the amplitude is 1, and I say okay. So I define 2 amplitudes over here. So now if I go back to the load, let me edit this, and now I can select the amplitude to be constant for this axial load. That's it, done. Now let's apply the boundary condition here at the base. So this is from over here, create boundary conditions. And this I'm going to say, this is the column fixed boundary conditions. Okay. And this will be applied, well, actually I can do it from the initial step, because this will be in all the steps anyway. So you have different types of boundary conditions that you can apply, like velocity, displacement, symmetry. Typically I always use the displacement and rotation, and then select what I want to constrain, what degrees of freedom I want to constrain, what not to constrain. So I select displacement, rotation, continue. Let me select the point. It says here select the region. So I select the point. So now I don't need to select surfaces, because I just select a single point, because already the point is connected to the base with a rigid constraint. So that's why it's important to do these rigid constraints. So continue, and then if I select all these degrees of freedom, so now this means I'm restraining all the degrees of freedom, all the 3 translational ones and all the 3 rotational ones. I click OK. That's it. So if I zoom in, there is an indicator here like in blue, but maybe it doesn't show very well. But this means that you have, maybe if I rotate, yeah. So here you go. So this means I have boundary condition at this base. So now let's apply the displacement at the beam end. So I go again to the boundary condition, and this one we are going to call it beam displacement, and this will be applied in the loading step. Again, type displacement rotation, continue. This is the point, done. And then what do I want to apply at this point? So at this point, I want to apply in U2 negative how much? So if I check my problem, I need to apply negative 50 millimeter. All right, so I write negative 50. What is the amplitude associated with this negative 50? Is it ramp or constant? So I'm going to use the ramp. I'm going to apply this monotonically. So it will go from 0 and it will reach negative 50. So I click ramp and I say OK. All right. Speaking of amplitudes, the amplitude doesn't need to have a maximum value here of 1. This could be 5, this could be whatever, or any value. So this is up to you. Eventually, at any time increment, the value of the amplitude will be multiplied by the value that you have assigned here. Let me actually edit something here for the beam displacement. So U1, we are going to apply U1 negative 50, but how about the other boundary conditions? So I'm actually not going, I'm going to restrain the rotation around 3, which is the rotation around Z. I don't want any torsion to happen or twisting, so I set this equal to 0. I don't want to have any movement out of plane, so U1 I will set equal to 0. U3 I will leave it because I want this beam to rotate, so it can, this point can move axially. Rotation around X, well, this is a free point, so I leave it. UR1, UR2, rotation in the out of plane, again I will put this equal to 0, and then I say OK. So that's it. Now we have defined all the boundary conditions and loads in our model. So in the next video, we are going to go through the last step before we run the analysis, which is the meshing step, and perhaps the most important step. Thank you, and see you in the next video.